Hi, I'm attorney Vincent Davis, and I've been fighting CPS for over 35 years. Through my years of experience, I've gained invaluable insights that I'm ready to share with you. If you're a parent or a caregiver or a relative, we need to talk. I'm offering a new opportunity for you to speak with me on a one-on-one basis. Ask me any questions, and I'll provide you with the insight you need to take steps in your CPS case. Members get everything they need to gain confidence and the knowledge that they need to support necessary to truly fight back. And as a special thank you for attending, I have a special offer just for you. Don't miss out, join us, and let's take that next step together. I'll see you at the question and answer event.
Good morning and welcome. I'm Bob Pace, and I'm glad you joined my podcast, How to Fight CPS and Hang On to Our Children. You just heard a message from a great attorney, Vincent W. Davis, and he is talking about a special Zoom meeting this coming Saturday. So I encourage you to go and register for it. And if you're not a member of the school, there's a link there to register also. That same the same ad will play again at the end of my show. So if you missed it, you can get it again. Um, so um, you've come to the right place. You found me on Facebook, Fighting CPS, Bob Pace, and I want to welcome all of you from all the rooms that are now connected again. Thank you, Grace. Grace has worked hard the last couple of weeks to fix and really get a lot of people come into the room. She's got all her links going. She's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rooms, 7 links. So hopefully anybody that fights CPS or comes to those other rooms will come to my podcast. So again, thank you, Grace. Now, Vincent W. Davis is a professional law attorney with 35 years. He just spoke about how he can help you. And I do like to tell you at this time that you can also retain him and also have a discounted Zoom consultation with Mr. Davis. Why do you need this Zoom consultation with Mr. Davis? Is because you're going to be fighting the worst thing ever in your life. CPS is corrupt, they're not transparent, and all they're interested is the dollar. It's $1 trillion business for them through bonuses and incentives. The money is unaccounted for. It comes from the federal government right to the state, and the state in turn turns over to the county. And I'm sorry to tell you it's corrupt. I don't think all CPS cases, I hope they're not, but the 500 some people I've talked to since October have told me the same story. An allegation's made, they come out to investigate, and they take my children that are not in imminent danger. And they push them into foster care and push for adoption. Why? Well, in my case, I did have a CPS case. They were getting $20,000 per each of my children. They had kidnapped three of my children, trafficked three of my children into foster care. That was the Orange County uh, CPS. Now, when I say the word CPS, what I mean is I mean the Child Protection System. Every county will have different acronyms. Like in California, it's the Child Protection Services. In Arizona, it's Department of Children's Services. In Kentucky, it's the cabinet. So no matter where you are in the United States or the world, because I do have people from the world that listen in, I have about 14 countries, that anything deals with the protection of our children from neglect or abuse. That is the arm of social services to protect our children from neglect and abuse. They also, not only protection, they're supposed to offer any family in need of food, housing, clothing, shelter, housing, clothing, food, like the food stamps, medical, education for the children, and a job. That's right. They'll help you out with a job starting at $20 an hour, and you can work at McDonald's. Of course, that's California. I don't know if McDonald's is the same in every other state, but it's ridiculous that people now start at jobs at $20 and $25. Well, they have to. California is the most expensive place to live, and we're paying $4 for a gallon of milk, $1 a pound for bananas. We're paying $5 for gas. I mean, our rent is so exorbitant. It's ridiculous what our housing is, and we have a shortage of housing. But anyway, I'm glad that you found us, and I encourage you to take notes and listen carefully. There are four ways that you can interact with this podcast. And I was talking about Vincent Davis before I go there. I want to finish that up. I mentioned about a Zoom consultation with Mr. Davis. He will talk to you for 30 minutes, and I have a special rate of $60 for 30 minutes. And welcome, who just came into the room. And that person came from the room for the secret, how to fight CPS. That's great. I welcome you. So all you have to do to talk to Mr. Davis is go to this website to get that $60 rate. It's https:// candly.com/apps VWD /Bob Pace. And you can go there. Hold on a second. I've been asked to acknowledge something. Anyway, um, I was complimenting you, Grace, and I answered your question. And I was complimenting you on how many of the rooms that you've got now tied in. So I appreciate it. But it does take time between the ad and me speaking. So I'm not on. I have to be off so the ad can run. That's why I do it that way. Maybe afterwards we can talk further about that. Um, Now, I was talking about Vincent Davis, about how to get a consultation with him. And you go to that website. Again, I'll repeat it: https://candily.com /appts VWD /Bob Pace. And um, that website, you go there, use your credit card, and book a 30-minute consultation that suits your time and pay the $60. And he'll talk to you. When you talk to Mr. Davis, please tell him that Bob Pace sent you. Also, what you need to do is that uh, you need to get an attorney. My rule number one says you cannot fight CPS without an attorney. Why? It's like open heart surgery. It's open heart surgery. And what is happening is that you have a serious agency that's very corrupt and that lies and that will hurt you. They'll build you up and hurt you. They'll build you up and hurt you. Um, the sorry, I was my mind's been interrupted. I'm trying to get refocused here. Wow. Okay. Now, let me tell you something more about Vincent Davis. He works out of Arcadia. His office is in Arcadia, south of Los Angeles. He has cases in LA County, Orange County, and San Bernardino. He also does Northern California, and he has a case in Oklahoma. There are other states that he works too. He'll work in any state there is, and he'll defend you because he's the only one that I know of that has also not only fought to get your children back, but has done lawsuits against CPS and not afraid to sue them and won millions of dollars in state court and federal court. He's the real deal. Yes, all attorneys are expensive. All attorneys require a retainer. There may be a few attorneys that do pro bono, but the quality may not be as good. There are also attorneys that are cheap out there and they'll take you for your money. I mean, just because they're a criminal attorney doesn't mean they can fight CPS. They need to be a juvenile family dependency lawyer. That's the background. Juvenile family dependency lawyer. That's dependency law that involves juvenile and families. And that's what you got to talk to. A criminal attorney will not help you. Now, Mr. Davis does have other attorneys in his law firm, and they can help you with real estate matters, with immigration matters, with criminal matters, divorce matters, the workplace, insurance claims, accidents, so forth. To reach the office of Vincent W. Davis Associates, you'll dial in 888-888-6582. 888-888-6582. And um, okay. Um, so you can call in, speak to the office. You will call in and speak to the office and um, talk to any attorney you like to, including Mr. Davis. And he'll explain the retainers, and each of the attorneys will explain retainers. So that number, 888-888-6582, is the number of the office. Now, to get a private consultation with Mr. Davis, you go to that website, https://candly, CALENDLY.com/apptsvwd/Bob Pace. Now, going back to how you can interact with this podcast, and I welcome the new person in the room. This person came from juvenile dependency. Thank you for coming into the room. The first way, of course, you've been in this room and you're listening and hopefully taking notes. Also in this room, you can use emojis such as thumbs up, hearts, and you can also use smiley faces. Also, if you want to send me stars, that'd be great in appreciation. Stars would be really great in appreciation. Now, if you want to follow me, please check the follow button below. And also, you want to get notification, check the notifications below. Now, a second way to join me in this podcast is to type me a comment. Now that you're in here and you wanted to make a comment or you want to do a question, all you have to do is show your name. Your first name only is what I need to see. And make sure we pertain to the CPS, the Child Protection System. Also, please show your city or county where the case was, the state. And if you're from a country, your city and your country include there, and then be very complete with your CPS case. Now, I mentioned countries because we have people from all over the world that have a CPS question, so I'm open to anybody here. I've had Bangladesh, New Delhi, India. I've had a country in the Middle East that I couldn't understand Arabic. Hopefully they'll come back and tell me the country they're from. It's one of the Arabic countries. And then I've had Africa, and I've had several countries within Africa, the continent of Africa. I've had Liberia in the north, on the west side, on the coast. It's a small country. And I've had a guy named Roger who works with the Boy Scouts talk about his CPS cases in his country. Then I've had Rwanda, and Rwanda is near Lake Victoria. And Lake Victoria is close by, and Rwanda went through a horrible time in 1994 where the country was in civil war, and over 1 million people were slaughtered and killed and murdered, as well as 500,000 females were raped. It was so bad they were trying to use AIDS to wipe out the ethnic groups there. And so the country's back, but they also have text in the comment. Then I've had Mozambique on the east coast, opposite from Madagascar Island, and they've commented. Then I've had South Africa on the West Province, on the West Coast, talk with a comment too. Then we go up to Europe. I've had England, Scotland, Wales, part of the United Kingdom, and Denmark and Sweden. Then I've had across the pond, North America, where I've talked to the Canadian provinces. And then, of course, the United States, all 50 states, including Washington, D.C., I've talked to. And some really in faraway places. I've also talked to several Native American Indian tribes like the Cherokee in Oklahoma, the Lakota Sioux um, in the Rosebud Reservation in South Dakota, or the First Nation people in Canada. They call their people, their Indians, First Nation. And anyway, I've talked to them. And I've also talked to social workers, three of them. I'm hoping to talk to a policeman how or a sheriff how they handle CPS cases. I love to talk to everybody because my goal is to help you all get your children back, to have your children, because the best people are the parents to raise children. Now, I told you that CPS is supposed to protect children from neglect and abuse. They're also supposed to help you with your needs, but they're also supposed to do reunification when they have to take your family apart. That's the hardest thing, and that's what they're doing, is they walk out with your children. And they do it because no one knows the statutes of the amendments or the Constitution or your civil rights. There's so much abuse that CPS does. It's awful. It really is awful. Hi, Laura, and I'm glad that you called in. And I'm trying to read your comments. My question is: there a way to get visitation with kids after termination of parental rights? Well, Laura, it all depends on time. Now, I have a person from Richmond, Kentucky that has two children. She's a single mom. As a child, she grew up in foster care 5 times. She was a teenager in the foster care system, and she was trafficking in the sex industry. She was raped and molested and everything. But she somehow got a GED in high school and got a college degree in nursing. Then as she grew up, she wanted to have children. So she had a boy and a girl. And the boy had special needs. The girl was a lot younger, it's her second child. But the social workers found out that she was once in foster care and wanted to take her child. Why? Because her child was perfect and they had a foster care family that wanted to adopt it. That was the only reason. They let her choose between her children. She chose her son because her son needed her. It was a horrible thing that they did. So I know what you're saying, Laura, about how um, how can you get your back. But she just opened for a case again. It's 13 years, and she's trying to communicate with her daughter, who's grown up, and she would like to know her daughter know that she as a mother is loved her. That's the hardest thing as parents. I lost two daughters, and my second daughter was stolen by CPS. She was at 12, and then she was brainwashed to leave my wife and I. So I know what it is to lose children, especially to have a long period. My daughter's 22 now. I've not seen her since she's 12. My other daughter was 3 when she was stolen from me. She now is in her 30s, 36, I think is what her age is. So it is a hard thing. All I can say is keep a journal, you know, talk to your journal like you'd be talking to your daughter, and someday your journal can be shown to your daughter that you care. Now, as far as, you know, undoing your terminal rights, see, once you sign it, it's very, very, very hard, Laura, to get your children back. But you can petition the court to reopen your case. In California, it's called a 388 motion, is where they petition the judge with new information or evidence, and you want to have a hearing within 30 days. And in Georgia, I'm pretty sure if you Google it, the motion to reopen your case, you'll find out the steps to do that, Laura. Now, I'd like to go back to further interaction. I mentioned about your case, about how the typing comments and questions, and I got through the United States. Mexico is another place where I heard someone call in. It was a guy talking about his daughters in Louisiana who wanted to get in touch with her. Then we go down in South America. I've had Guyana on the east coast, north of Brazil, east of Venezuela. And then we go across the Pacific to the land down under. I've had Australia. I've had the east coast of Australia, the Gold Coast, and then I've also had Melbourne on the state of Victoria in Australia. So country-wise, I've had a lot. So I've had a lot of people. So it's well worth it. So try to be complete with your CPS case. It's nice that you can tell me what kind of family you have, the ages and sex of your children, the allegations, and how your children were taken and where you're at on your case. That does help me. Now, a third way of interacting with this podcast is to be a guest on my show. Um, to be a guest on my podcast is all you have to do is contact my show producer. Her name is Grace. She works really hard behind the scenes and helps me a lot. And again, I want to thank Grace. And my prayers go out to her because she needs all the prayers she can. And but she will help you. All you do is email Grace at Grace at vincentwdavis.com. Make sure you include her name at vincentwdavis.com. And all you have to do is put one of my 14 shows. I'm on 7 days a week. I'm on at 10 o'clock in the morning Pacific Standard Time, and I'm on at 7 o'clock at night Pacific Standard Time. And the only exceptions is on Sunday. I come on at 8 o'clock because I have church on Sunday I go to. So I'm 2 hours early on Sunday. And this being the football season with high school, I have Friday night lights. I have a football game I go to at 7 o'clock at night. So my show on Friday is 2 hours early. I come on at 4 o'clock instead of at 7 o'clock. So I will tell you if there's any changes or anything else. But I want to thank you very, very much for coming to my shows. Now, to be a guest, you go and tell Grace that you want to be on the morning podcast on Friday or the evening podcast on Wednesday or the Monday morning broadcast. You pick one of the 14 shows. She, in turn, will give you a link to StreamYard. I use StreamYard, the application I transmit on YouTube. And StreamYard, that link will get you on. Don't lose the link because if you happen to come off, you can click that link again. It'll get you back on again. It's a reusable link for that show. Also, Grace will inform you that things like eating and smoking are not allowed in the show. Also, the children's names, the judges' names, and the social work names are not to be used on the show. She'll talk to you about things like lighting and how they get your sound and so forth in there. Try to use a computer if you have one. A phone is acceptable. So all you do is email Grace at vincentwdavis.com. Now I'm going to go back to the fourth way to interact with this podcast. You call in to my work number. It's 626-698-0990. And I'll reach you my phone. I use Vonage, is my phone application. So call into 626-698-0990. I can only talk to one person at a time, and I only talk during my showtime. I cannot talk to you before my showtime or after my showtime. So it's 626-698-0990. And those are the four ways: being in this room, making comments, being a guest, or calling in. Now, we had one guest already, Laura Taylor, who was talking about visitation. Now, when your parental rights are terminated, as I say, you don't have visitation anymore. That means they've been adopted. But you should appeal at any time that your termination is right. Now, I don't know if you're still with me, Laura, because it shows nobody in the room now. See here. Now, Georgia does say you can appeal the termination rights only in certain circumstances, such as if you're a union member, you work for a governmental agency, or have other appeal rights from your employer. You can also sue your employer for wrongful termination if you're fired for illegal rights or legal reasons. Um, I should have said CPS there. But the appeal of your termination rights should be within 30 days. You must file a timely notice, either a notice of appeal, a JV 800. That's what I'm looking for in Florida. It's called a JV 800. A JV 800 is what you want, Laura. A JV 800. Um, Good, Laura. I'm glad you're still here. I guess what happens is that my eyeball only shows people, I guess, that come in through the rooms, but other people can enter my rooms otherwise. So, Laura, I found that out for you. Do you understand what I just said? I don't know how many days it's been uh, with your case, Laura.
Hi, I'm attorney Vincent Davis, and I've been fighting CPS for over 35 years. Through my years of experience, I've gained invaluable insights that I'm ready to share with you. If you're a parent or a caregiver or a relative, we need to talk. I'm offering a new opportunity for you to speak with me on a one-on-one basis. Ask me any questions, and I'll provide you with the insight you need to take steps in your CPS case. Members get everything they need to gain confidence and the knowledge that they need to support necessary to truly fight back. And as a special thank you for attending, I have a special offer just for you. Don't miss out. Join us, and let's take that next step together. I'll see you at the question and answer event.
Boy, they lost power at the place where I'm at. I'm broadcast from Southern California. I'm about a mile from the beach on Golden West Street. Whoops. Anyway, um, hopefully you can hear me. I lost power, and I also tried to notify my show producer. I text her on my phone, but I don't know if she got it. Somehow I can no longer text. I don't know if I can still call her or what, but anyway, um, hopefully you're still there, Laura. As I was reading, let me pull that back up. Um, it's called a JV 820 or JV 822. There's it seems like there's three JV notices you have to look at. One is called a notice of appeal. The other one's called a notice of intent to file a written petition. So notice of appeal is a JV 800 in Georgia. A notice of intent to file a written petition is 820 or 822. But um, it all means you want to do that that appeal. So does that answer your question, Laura? Are you still there, Laura? Laura from Georgia, are you still there? Laura, can you hear me? Hopefully, you guys can still hear me. Laura, are you still there? Okay, good. Um, how long is your termination of your parental rights have been? How long has been your terminating of your parental rights been? Um, all the kids have been adopted. That's hard, Laura. You can still try to appeal. Um, um, I know they've been adopted. Oh, they've not been adopted. Well, if they've not been adopted, um, you can still appeal your termination rights. You can get guardianships. I mean, how old are the children? I mean, what were the allegations? How old were the children, Laura? I mean, how old are the children, and what are the allegations? There are 10, 9, 5. You have three of them. Okay. And what were the allegations, Laura? What were the allegations? Okay, well, you shouldn't be terminated your rights because you failed one drug test. I mean, what were the initial allegations? Have you done your own drug test yourself? Have you got your own insurance company to do a drug test? Because the agency's drug tests can be falsified reading. It's you can ask to have your own insurance company to do a drug test, and that will help you. That will help you. I understand. I believe you're not using, but you need to know that the CPS is corrupt, and Georgia's a bad state for CPS. I have one of my room regulators used to be my host, Danielle, and she's been trying to get guardianship of her son, who's 19, and he turned 18 in the CPS system, the child protection system, and they're trying to keep him in there because they're getting money. It's a money thing, Laura. It's so sad. A hair follicle is not the only test they can do for drugs, but you can go to your own insurance, your own doctor, and get a drug test and show that to the court, show the result, or have the doctor come to court and testify that you're free of any drugs in your system. And you got to be drug free. They'll keep you for a year, but you don't want your children adopted. You don't want to lose rights to your children. You got to hang on to them. No, you can have, okay. They can do anything they want. They're that corrupt. But you can file an appeal. Do you have an attorney, or do you have a court appointed attorney? You have to understand a court appointed attorney will not fight for you. They have a caseload of 30 or more clients, and they're only in criminal law background, and they're looking for an easy way out on your case. They're not going to fight for you. So why were your children taken if there's no allegations of drugs? What was the reason? What was the neglect or abuse that your three kids you were charged with? You had to be charged with something there. Okay, parental supervision. He got burnt. All right. But why did the other children get taken away? What was the other children in danger about? Are they saying you're no longer you're neglecting one child, so you're not a good parent with the other children? And what is your attorney doing? Do you have an attorney, a dependency law attorney, or do you have a court appointed attorney? Or are you trying to do pro bono where you're trying to defend it yourself? Would you like to call in to my number right now, 626-698-0990, and talk about it? It would be easier to talk on the phone about your case and get the questions and answers, Laura. You're welcome to do that. Oh, I'm so sorry you got ripped off. You should do a lawsuit against that attorney. That's a lot of money. And on top of that, she didn't do what she was told to do her job. That is terrible what attorneys will do. Was that attorney a dependency law attorney? Yep. And I think your dad, the father's probably taking advantage. Are you guys still together? Are you divorced? Um, is your husband trying to? Um, he never done drugs a day in his life, and he kept failing the hair fall. Only the hair fall. All his saliva, all his urine was clean. So is mine. Well, you need to see. I don't know what kind of attorney you paid for $5,000. I don't know if that was the dependency family juvenile law attorney or not. You need someone that can do that. But that's wrong that you got ripped off like that. That's terribly bad. But you can put a complaint against that attorney for malpractice and tell them the reasons why. Also, I still think you need to go to your private doctor and have it there. Now, is the father of the children still with you? You guys are husband and wife? Or are you just girlfriend, boyfriend, or just lovers? Or is he trying to divorce you? Are you raising your children singly by yourself? Okay, you're trying to divorce. That's the worst time because the custody issue with children. Um, and he's trying to alienate you from your children. Alienation is illegal, and you got a corrupt agency, CPS, involved because your child was burnt, and so they're trying to make it look like that. Um, do you have any family members that you could put your children with that could stay with your children? Family members, are sometimes a temporary arrangement that your children can be with a family, and that way you can still visit your children and still get them back when you get your divorce, your custody. If you get a divorce, it should be a 50-50 way. It should be a 50-50 way. But divorces can be hard. Does the father have an attorney? Does the father have an attorney? I think a divorce is really a hard thing to do with a custody battle, too. I just can't believe you spent $5,000 and that's all the attorney did to change the name. You could take him to small claims court and get that money back from him. In small claims court, you can't have an attorney fight between you and that party there, but you can show them the receipt, stuff stuff there. I want to help you. I think if you got a test from your insurance doctor, from your doctor that you got insurance, your medical insurance, you can have that test and have the doctor show up at court. And I would definitely appeal that termination rights. You want to get that appealed right away. And as I told you, the form you need to get, the 820 form. Um, the JV 820, which is the notice of appeal. And maybe with the notice you could Oh, if you have not heard from it, you should call them right within the first week or two, especially if you don't have an attorney. You need to call up and check on the status of that appeal. And if you filed an appeal, you should have a copy with you. You should have a copy with you. I have about 5 minutes left in my show here. So, you know what you can do, Laura? It sounds like it's taking you a lot of time to answer questions. You could go ahead and schedule to be a guest on my podcast. And again, I'm on again tonight at 7 o'clock tonight. You could talk to me. Of course, it's going to be later your time. It's going to be 10 o'clock your time in Georgia. But then, or the next morning, you could talk to me also. I want to help you, but I think the best way maybe is you to call in or be a guest on my show so you can freely answer questions and we can resolve or help you with your case. You have a lot of issues going on. Your first issue is your attorney did not do their job. Your attorney that you hired did not perform. The second thing is you're going through a horrible divorce with a man that probably wants to keep the children from you. And then third, you're dealing with an agency, the child protection system, that's very corrupt, and they don't care. They don't care about your divorce. See, divorce isn't handled in the CPS realm. They're a dependency court. You need to be a divorce court. It's different scenario, different situation, and they're just interested in getting their money for your child. I mean, they make trillions of dollars a year, so um, they're only keeping your children in the system so they get the money. That's the bad thing about it is. I want to thank everybody that has come into my room, that's left me emojis. I want to thank you all. It seems like we got more rooms open up. We're trying to get more people in here. I do want to thank Laura Taylor from Georgia speaking about her case. As she says, she has a horrible case. I wish I could do more to help you. But there's never too late to file appeals, never too late to fight. If you want to fight, you can fight. As I told you, there's a lady named Faith in Kentucky for 13 years. She's reopened her case again. The cabinet's changed in their Richmond, Kentucky area, and the ombudsperson is different, the civil rights coordinator. So she's trying to make some headway in her case that her child's already been adopted. And again, that's 13 years ago, and her child was adopted, I think, at 5, and so she now is probably close to being 18 years old. Anyway, um, I want you all to keep fighting on your case, and I don't want you to give up. It's one of those things are, and remember that rule number 1 I showed you. You need to get an attorney, and you get the right kind of attorney. Laura got the wrong kind of attorney, who then ripped her off $5,000, and that's a lot of money there. So it's important that you talk to Mr. Davis, who do that consultation. It's still running on the bottom of my screen of how to contact him to go to that website, and he will make your life a whole much better. You'll feel so much more better because, as I was telling early on, it's like doing open heart surgery. You're not going to have a plumber. You're not going to have a auto mechanic work on your heart. You're going to get a professional doctor. The same thing goes for an attorney. You need a professional attorney who's very experienced in dependency law with children, juveniles, and families. That's what kind of attorney you need. And I hired Mr. Davis. He does work. He got back my 2 boys, and but it took me 3 years. See, I was 5 years with allegations that were unfounded, and then in 2015 they finally got my 3 children, and then a year later I hired my attorney, but I waited too late. So it's really important that you get a hold of Mr. Davis. So I want to thank you all for listening. I want you to have a great day, and keep fighting. And I'll see you tonight at 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. There will be a short ad after I get off, after I remove myself from the show. I'm going to run an ad.
Hi, I'm attorney Vincent Davis, and I've been fighting CPS for over 35 years. Through my years of experience, I've gained invaluable insights that I'm ready to share with you. If you're a parent or a caregiver or a relative, we need to talk. I'm offering a new opportunity for you to speak with me on a one-on-one basis. Ask me any questions, and I'll provide you with the insight you need to take steps in your CPS case. Members get everything they need to gain confidence and the knowledge that they need to support necessary to truly fight back. And as a special thank you for attending, I have a special offer just for you. Don't miss out. Join us, and let's take that next step together. I'll see you at the question and answer event.